This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works, with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
And good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert meteorologist CJ Cartledge here, back on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. I hope you guys had a great start to your Tuesday. It was very hot and humid on my way from the car into the station this morning. It was definitely didn't catch me by surprise per se, because I knew it was coming. I'm a meteorologist anyway, but we are dealing with very hot and humid conditions as of this hour, 10:30 at here right now. And we're going to be seeing much hotter and more humid conditions as we move towards the afternoon hours for today here. And that's what's going to be the main topic, along with another topic that we're going to be talking about. We're also going to be talking about the tropics here for today. Here in terms of our topics for today on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown, there's a lot of activity going on in the Eastern Pacific. Not so much activity going on in the Atlantic here, which is why some colleges, mainly the Colorado State, their atmospheric science program, they have lowered their numbers in terms of how many storms they can expect for this year's hurricane season in the Atlantic. They have not touched the Pacific numbers because they are pretty active for this time of year, and we're about to enter the peak for hurricane season. So we're going to be breaking down more of those details coming up right after we talk about the local forecast. So let's jump right into the local forecast. It looks pretty pleasant out there. Birds are chirping and flying around, as you can see through our KSLA Tower Cam, sponsored by Mattress Plus. Maybe a little bit of some haze in the distance here, mainly because of the Saharan dust that's actually making its way over here from Africa, the western coastlines of Africa. But that is also inhibiting or suppressing the hurricane activity that we may or could be seeing out in the Atlantic for this time of year. We were dealing with a couple of storms during this time of year a year ago, but this year we have been seeing a lot of Saharan dust and stronger wind shear, which inhibits or suppresses the activity to grow for hurricanes and other tropical systems here. So let's move on to something else here. As you can see, we're going into, I believe this is First Alert Doppler radar next. As you can see, not much is really going on here around the Arklatex. We're dealing with high pressure right now, which is promoting sinking air, and as opposed to a low pressure system, which promotes rising air. Warm air rises, cools, condenses into clouds, and causes rain to fall. But opposite, or we're pretty much dealing with the opposite of those conditions, and the green, don't mind that there. That's not any types of rain chances, maybe just most likely just ground clutter. But we're dealing with sinking air, bringing us these warm and humid conditions, as well as southerly flow moving in from the Gulf of Mexico as of right now. Let's take a quick look at temperatures right now. We're already in the 90s by Shreveport and Bossier, 91 here. 88 for Minden, 88 also for DeQueen, 93 by Texarkana, 89 for Carthage, 92 by Natchitoches, 87 for Florine. But just wait till you see these feels-like temperatures. It feels like we are in a bowl and we are spinning around in a microwave right now. That's literally what I felt like walking into the studio this morning and walking out of my apartment today. And as you can see, we're already feeling like the 100-degree mark here in Shreveport and Bossier. Same for Mansfield, Carthage, Idabel. Feels like 110 already in the 10 a.m. hour. And Bienville, 103 by Natchitoches, 96 by Florine, 88 by Center. It feels like 97 already for Mount Pleasant. This just the start of the day. We haven't even gotten to the lunch hour yet. We're already feeling like the triple digits. So this just sets the stage for how the rest of the day will feel like across the Arklatex. And it's even hotter than that to areas north and east of us in northeast Louisiana and most of Arkansas already at 10:30 a.m. Just amazing temperatures, or just hot, very high temperatures out there, and very hot and humid conditions around the Arklatex as of right now, which is why We're under a heat advisory that lasts from now until 8 p.m. this evening, which encompasses everywhere around the Arklatex. That pink color there denotes the extreme heat warning, which means feels like temperatures could reach 110 or greater during the afternoon hours for at least 3 hours during the afternoon. Here for Shreveport and Bossier and around the Arklatex, we could see feels like temperatures at 105 or greater across the entire region here, as you can see with every county and parish shaded in that orange color that you see there on the screen. Let's take a quick look at how high temperatures may rise for today around the Arklatex region. I'm going to move myself off the screen here just so you guys can see. 100 for Stamps, 100 for Magnolia, 101 by Prescott, 101 also for Texarkana, Doddridge, and Atlanta over in East Texas here. Looking over into more areas of East Texas, we should see around 98 degrees for Longview, Carthage, and Center. Same for San Augustine, Sereno, and Nacogdoches. Henderson, Texas, which is normally a hot spot around the Arklatex, may rise to 103. This could potentially be the hottest day of the summer for many cities and parishes and counties around the Arklatex for today. 99 for Mannion over in northwest Louisiana, 100 for Coshada, Natchitoches, 101 by Shreveport and Bossier. And that is actually our highest temperature that we saw so far this summer and this year. If we reach 102, officially it will be the hottest day of the summer so far for this year of 2025. 99 for Bienville, Ringgold, and Jonesboro, and 98 by Homer and Ruston. In terms of feels like temperatures today, absolutely disgusting. It's looking possibly near 111 for Texarkana, 111 for Hope, 107 by Shreveport, and I believe we could definitely reach higher than 107 in terms of feels like temperatures for today, mainly because of where feels like temperatures are now. We're already at the 100-degree mark, and it's only 10:36. 108 by Ruston, 108 also for Natchitoches, and 104 by Nacogdoches over in East Texas is expected for today. In terms of forecast highs for the next 5 days ahead, we should see a drop in these temperatures to the below average range, actually. I believe our average for this time of year is 95 degrees. And by the time we hit mid-August, our average will be 96 degrees. And that's actually the highest that the averages go throughout the rest of the year. They're expected to drop after mid-August towards the lower 90s and into the possibly the 80s and 70s going into the fall season. But let's worry about now. Wednesday, we should see a high of 99 degrees, or areas will get towards the mid and upper 90s once again, with some chances for rain possible on Wednesday afternoon through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well, which is going to explain why temperatures are going to drop towards the below average range as well. Here's a look at future track. We should see mostly clear conditions through the day today. Maybe a couple clouds may enter in, and maybe even a couple showers in our Arkansas zones here, but they're not expected to remain for a long amount of time. They're expected to remain very, very brief in nature. Heading into our Wednesday, we may see an isolated shower to move in from the south and east, which could drop temperatures even more into the 70s, maybe even into the 60s for some areas, but we could see a multitude of showers and storms begin to develop by the afternoon hours, which could hinder those temperatures from reaching the 100-degree mark across most areas around the Arklatex. It may not show up as multiple or as many as what you see here on the screen. This is just one model here, but there are definitely going to be isolated showers and storms possible through the afternoon on our Wednesday. Make sure to keep that umbrella handy. We're expecting another type of pattern like Wednesday afternoon for our Thursday afternoon, with more showers and storms that will be possible around the Arklatex. More than likely, it will possibly move in from the north, as another system is expected to move in from the north as well. So make sure to keep the umbrella handy through the rest of the work week after today. We're expecting our chance for rain to rise to around 20 to 30% through the next couple of days ahead. It looks to be around more consistently 30% for our Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday coming up. Possibly we could see rain chances diminish as we head towards this weekend, but still below average temperatures are expected across the area. Here's our rainfall potential. We could reach up to an inch of rain through the next 7 days, and that starts off with tomorrow's rain chance, as well as Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and possibly moving into Monday and Tuesday of the next work week as well. So a good deal of rainfall is on the way for us, and a good deal of relief from the high heat and humidity is on the way for us as well. So here's some heat safety tips that you guys could very well use. Number one is to stay hydrated. You'll definitely want to drink plenty of water. This protects you the best from any types of heat-related illnesses. And the main reason is because you'll want to, when you go outside, obviously, your body temperature starts to rise, and it will start to regulate its body temperature by sweating. If you sweat out nothing, then that pretty much throws your body temperature out of control. It allows your body temperature to continue to rise, and you'll be more susceptible to heat-related illnesses. But once you sweat, your body temperature cools off. That's your body's mechanism for cooling off without any types of air conditioning or anything else that you may need. So make sure to drink plenty of water so you have a lot of moisture to sweat out for if in case you are outside for any amount of time here. Make sure to stay cool by taking frequent breaks indoors or in the shade. If you have to be outside for prolonged periods of time, make sure to stay near AC unit or stay near some cooler air. Have any type of cool air that you can get, whether that's a little fan or if that's a big unit that you may be sitting next to. Make sure to have that handy for you, and make sure to dress appropriately if you have to be outside for a long period of time. Especially wear light colored clothing and loose fitting clothing. Light colored meaning the light blues, the white colored shirts, the yellow shirts, maybe even bounce the rain, or not the rain, but the sunlight back off of you towards anything else. If you wear any dark colored clothing, that dark color absorbs the heat much better than lighter colors can, and it makes you feel hotter. And even the littlest difference, or even the smallest difference, it does make a difference here. And also make sure to download the KSLA First Alert Weather app just to keep you first aware and first alert to the latest updates that we have here weather-wise in the Arklatex. We'll let you know about the heat advisories as soon as they are issued, or extreme heat warnings. We'll hope that we won't go under any extreme heat warnings for the rest of this summer, but sadly, it's definitely possible. We cannot rule that out. But yeah, make sure to download the KSLA First Alert Weather app from your mobile device's app store as we go through the rest of this summer season and head into fall. It'll keep you first aware and first alert to the latest updates on any types of rain that may head your way as well. Here's our 7-day forecast, though. We should see the mid and upper 90s heading into our Wednesday, but the triple digits look to be a little less likely due to the scattered showers and storms that would be possible through the afternoon hours. We're expecting similar conditions for our Thursday, as temperatures are expected to drop towards the average, and below the average we go heading into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the middle part of the 7-day period here. And as you can see, lows will possibly drop into the 60s and 70s by Sunday morning, making it a little bit more comfortable. It's still slightly humid out there. We could see temperatures rise back towards the average heading into the start of the new work week and throughout much of the next work week as well. We could see temperatures rise back above the average moving to the later part of the work week. Also, I remember seeing the 12-day forecast yesterday of some triple digits that are possible once again. We may reach the triple digits for today, but we're looking forward to some cooler air moving in by the time we reach the end of the week into this weekend. So that's something to look forward to. But for today, please try to stay try to stay inside as much as possible. Drink plenty of water and try to keep yourself safe from the high heat and humidity that's expected through the day today. I'm going to be right back after this quick break, and we're going to be talking about the tropics here, about the activity that's going on in the Atlantic, little to none, and the multitude of storms that are developing and have developed out in the Pacific Oceans. So I'll be back in just around 2 minutes to talk about it all. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Here's a look at tropical climatology and where we are at while we go through this hurricane season here. I'm gonna move myself off the screen because I'm blocking some portions of the data here. There we are today, just before August 1st. We're at July 29th, and as you can see, with the yellow marking matching up to the amount of storms that have happened during this time of year, it's not many. It's around 20 that have happened in the past at around or have formed by this time frame of July 29th here. Maybe even a couple of major hurricanes have been out and about across the Atlantic here in the past years or so. But we are about to enter the peak time for hurricane activity in the Atlantic. According to climatology, it lasts from mid-August all the way into mid-October potentially. That's when we see a drastic decline in those numbers in terms of hurricane activity. The peak time or peak day for hurricane season, it looks to be at around September 10th, where the most storms have either formed or reached its peak intensity by around September 10th. That's when the ocean or the sea surface temperatures are most likely going to be the highest, and the conditions are going to be most favorable for any types of tropical development out there in the Atlantic. Now in the Pacific, conditions are a little bit different out there. But here's a look at tropical development here for the at least the next week ahead. Starts tomorrow. This forecast is for tomorrow through August 5th, and there is a 20 to 40% chance as according to the National Hurricane or the no, this is for according to the Climate Prediction Center. They're saying it's a 20 to 40% chance that tropical development is likely for that region there in the Gulf Coast states or near the Gulf Coast states of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida, as well as near the Atlantic coastlines of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida as well, the eastern coastlines of Florida. 20 to 40% chance of tropical development. But as we look towards the next week after, August 6th to 12th, there's not much of a chance there. We'll be waiting on another forecast from them for in the next couple of days or so. But here's a look at sea surface temperatures as of right now. And you need 80 degrees or higher, according to the subtitle, for tropical development. And look at the Gulf of Mexico, well above that 80-degree mark, 86 by the Caribbean islands near Cuba and those other countries over there, and by the Bay of Campeche in Mexico, by around 86 degrees already. 87 by Louisiana and the Gulf Coast of Louisiana and Texas. 88 near the coastlines of the Panhandle of Florida and Alabama. Same for areas near Tampa. They're measuring around 88 degrees in terms of sea surface temperatures. And as we look towards the east of us in eastern Atlantic, we're looking at slightly cooler waters. This is where the main track of where tropical storms start to develop here. And it's looking cooler out there, and temperatures are around that 80-degree mark, but they're not as high as what we were looking at just last year. Last year we were looking at a little bit higher temperatures out there in the eastern Atlantic, there near the coastlines of Africa. This is why we saw so many storms so early in the season, but it's mainly due to the Saharan dust, which is pretty much an inhibitor for tropical development. It inhibits and promotes drier air into the atmosphere. The atmosphere needs more moisture in the air, of course, to develop storms out there in the Atlantic basin. But here's the Saharan dust here for the Arclitex as of right now. And as you can see, there's still a pretty low plume of Saharan dust. Is still promoting some hazy conditions that you see maybe in the distance there. As we move towards our Friday, we could see a lesser amount of Saharan dust moving in. But as you can see, more Saharan dust may be moving in as we move towards the weekend and into the next work week here. I'm going to move this camera out to the Eastern Pacific to see where exactly those conditions are, what those conditions are looking like. And as you can see, there's a large plume of Saharan dust moving off the coastlines of Africa as of right now. And this may inhibit tropical development for a while here in the Atlantic basin. It's going to move across the Atlantic and potentially move closer and closer towards at least the American states here within the next few days or so. I'm going to actually stop this right here so we can see how let's take this off, and we're gonna start over here. Okay. So this is where the Saharan dust is moving, and that large plume is going to continue to move into the Caribbean islands, as you can see there, and possibly run into Florida pretty soon here. But this is going to slow down the development of any type of tropical system that we have here in the Atlantic for the next week or so. But as you can see, let's move on to the numbers for this year's hurricane season outlook. They have actually been updated. The Colorado State University has decreased their numbers by one for each category: named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes. At the start of the season, we were expecting, or they were expecting or predicting 17 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 3 major 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes, excuse me. But now they have decreased each of those numbers by 1, mainly because of how slow this season has started off and how favorable or unfavorable those conditions are expecting to be through the rest of this season here. But here's a look at the names for this year's hurricane season. We've only gotten through 3 so far: Andrea, Barry, and Chantal. But we still have Dexter, which is the next name on the list. And there have been a couple of storms that could have been Dexter, but they did not reach that tropical storm level just yet. But we still have a lot of stuff to go, a lot of the season left to go here before we call it quits for this year's hurricane season. As you can see, there's no types of development as of right now across the Atlantic basin. There are a couple of storms out in the Eastern Pacific, just off the coast of Western Africa, but that Saharan dust, as shown before, is expected to chase it pretty much across the Atlantic. But if it catches up to those storms, they will pretty much fall apart across the Arctic, or not across the Arctic, but fall apart before they even reach the Arctic, of course, but before they even reach the Caribbean islands, but that is. But out in the Pacific, there is a storm or a cluster of storms that has a high chance of formation within the next 8 days, or next 2 days, as well as the next 7 days ahead. This is a pretty large cluster of storms that is just off the coast of western Mexico, and it has a very high chance of formation within the next 2 and 7 days. This may be their 11th named storm of this year's hurricane season, or 10th or 11th, I believe. But there's also a couple more storms that we're going to talk about here on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. This is another one that has a low chance of formation within the next 2 days and 7 days, but it seems to have some pretty high potential, as it may develop into something within the next 7 days, more likely than the next 2 days. Moving farther westward, we are watching another area of potential development out in the Pacific that's going to continue to move west towards Hawaii, or just south of Hawaii. It's going to most likely remain a fish storm. It has a 60% chance of formation within the next 2 and 7 days. And here are the 2 tropical systems that are out in the Pacific as of right now. This is just south of Hawaii and the main island of Hawaii too. Honolulu right there, Hawaii is right there. Just south of Hawaii is Hurricane Iona. This has been making rapid development throughout the past 24 hours and now sits at a Category 3 hurricane with a pressure of 957 millibars, and it's moving west at 13 miles per hour. And as you can see, zooming into this storm, you can very well see that eye and winds rapidly spinning there at the center of it. It's just a beautiful looking storm, as you can see there. And that eye seems to be closing a little bit, but according to its track, it's expected to continue to strengthen within the next 2 days or so. And as you can see, it may strengthen to a Category 4 hurricane before it starts to dissipate, entering cooler and unfavorable conditions. Right next to it is Tropical Storm Kelly, which is a low-end tropical storm, a weaker tropical storm, which is around 40 miles per hour sustained winds. The pressure is around 1006 millibars. It's moving west at the same speed, right behind Hurricane Iona. It seems to be unraveling a little bit here, and its track seems to be telling that, as it may weaken into a subtropical storm, moving westward at around 12 to 13 miles per hour. So by the time we hit our Wednesday, it may not even be a tropical storm at all, and it may even get absorbed into that moisture may get absorbed into Hurricane Iona potentially. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in the tropics as of right now. That's all I had for you guys for today. So pretty interesting things going on in the Atlantic and as well as the Pacific. Their ocean temperatures are very high, suitable for tropical development, but the atmosphere is not bringing anything to the table in terms of its tropical development. It's actually bringing things that negatively affect the tropical development as of right now, which is the Saharan dust and the stronger wind shear. We may see weaker wind shear as we move towards the rest of the month and into the peak time for this year's hurricane season. So we'll have to wait on notion from that and continue to look at more and more data. But as of right now, things are quiet out there in the tropics. Nothing much to really worry about. So what we have to worry about here in the Arklatex, if you just tuned in at the start of when I started talking about the tropics, it's going to be very hot and humid through the next, through at least today and into tomorrow before we start to see some rain by tomorrow afternoon. And through the next couple of afternoons, temperatures are expected to drop below the average for this time of year. So that is what we have to worry about on the table for us here in the Arklatex. But make sure to drink plenty of water. Once again, take the necessary precautions by taking breaks from being outdoors for so long. Also, if you have to be outdoors, drink water, wear sunscreen, as well as wear light-colored and light-weighted clothing. You don't want anything dark-colored because it absorbs heat. It makes you feel hotter, and you don't want anything heavy on your back. You don't want to wear any heavy shirts, no, especially not no long sleeve shorts. Long sleeve shorts or long sleeve shirts. There's no such thing as long sleeve shorts. That makes no sense. But yes, no long sleeve shirts, no heavy weighted clothing, no dark color clothing at all. Try to wear something light weighted, like a t-shirt or something like that. That's light colored as well. You'll be good to go to just beat the heat pretty much. I'm not saying to live out the heat, but what I suggest is to stay inside as much as possible, pretty much. That's wrapping up this episode for today. I'm meteorologist CJ Cartledge. Thank you guys for tuning into the First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. Tomorrow we're going to be going into more detail about the cooler conditions that we can expect heading into the rest of this week and into this weekend. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm meteorologist CJ Cartledge. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Try to beat the heat as much as possible. It's going to be extremely hot out there, and make sure to drink plenty of water. Try to stay indoors as much as possible as well.